Good morning, everybody. Uh, it is Thursday. It's 10:08 Eastern Standard Time on the 12th, Thursday, the 12th of January. Now today's stream is going to be a little bit more focused than uh, last time. And for those of you that are watching this pre-recorded or after the stream is done, Um, I'll come back in and do the same synopsis that I'm doing now, explaining what I'm going to be doing today uh, in the next 10 to 15 minutes when some of the live streamers or when the live viewers come in. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be going over today. As you know, this is what my blog or my video blog is called Personal Trading and Investing Journal Series by Ryan Brown. Let's make profit together. Um, Today's episode is going to be focused on EA trading. So as you see here, we're going to talk about EA trading. Why is it good? Uh, why can't it be bad as well? Uh, what EAs are the best, which I'll just are the best. Why do I use my EA on the Euro Pound exclusively? And what are the results? Um, so we'll go into the details of why EA trading can be positive. There's a lot of um, talk going about how EAs are really bad. They can be negative. They'll blow up your account, all that kind of stuff. Um, so I'll try to cover as much about EA trading as possible to give you guys a better picture of um, if it's right for you, pretty much. Um, and a little bit more about how they work, just in case a lot of you don't know, uh, and and how to use them as well. So right now I'm actually running a test on my current EA, as you can see it running in the background, and this is just a quick test that shows the actual entries, but not exactly right on the profit amount. You can see the results happening in real time. Okay, uh, so what I wanted to start with is what are the positives of EA trading? Well, the positives are you don't have to be looking at your computer all the time. You don't have to be standing in front of your computer uh, looking for trade setups. Um, that can be really tiring. It can be boring, um, and it does it. It the EA trades automatically for you, and that's a really nice thing to have. And one of the things that's the biggest things is when you're sleeping, it can trade while you're sleeping as well, and that's a huge benefit. So it can capture the trades pretty much 24/5 during the entire trading week. It won't miss an opportunity. That's a huge asset to have in EA trading. Uh, and another positive is that you can load it up on a VPS server, which I'll get into uh, right now, actually, or a little bit later. You can load it onto a VPS server, which will allow you to run the EA on a server without it being disconnected from the internet. So if you have a spotty internet and you don't know if it's always going to be connected, we all have those issues with Comcast or even Verizon or other internet services where randomly you'll be disconnected from the internet, whether it be a couple minutes or a few hours. And that can be a problem. Um, and so that's why VPS server is nice, because a lot of the good ones have a 99% uptime, and you won't miss all those opportunities if you lose your internet. So later on in the video, I'll also go over VPS servers, which ones are good, which ones are cheap, which ones I'm using and have been using for a while, and uh, and work for me. So uh, more positives on EA trading is that you have an idea of how profitable it can be, especially in previous history. So you can actually go in and test from 2010. I don't have my marker. I'm going to get my marker out. So you can test from 2010 to 2017, or pretty much any date that you want, depending on how far back you want to go. And so you can see here, I'm testing it from 2010 to 2017. Now this information, so I'm basically going from the years 2010 to 2017, which is about 7 years time, and looking at the previous track record results, how the EA performed in the past, uh, in the past trading data on a specific pair. In here, I'm looking at the euro pound as my EA trades on that pair exclusively. So we do know that past results don't guarantee future results, right? And that's a fact. The markets are always changing, so it's hard to for EAs. So now I'm starting to get into the negatives of EA trading. It's hard for EAs to adapt to an ever-changing market, um, and that's the biggest challenge. Um, and probably the biggest weakness in EA trading as well is that it's hard for them to adapt to this market that's constantly changing. But when you look at it in this way, it's the same problem that each of us have with our manual systems as well. If you guys have noticed in trading, for those of you that are Forex traders, you'll know that your system always is going through these market phases, whether it's a trending system that you're using. Uh, let's say that you're using a trending system that requires the 1 hour time frame on the Euro US dollar. And you'll notice that the Euro US dollar is not always trending, so you have to try to find those times that it's actually trending. And that can be a little difficult because when spotting a trend is never easy, especially at the beginning of a trend, because trends only can really be spotted after the fact, after it's already happened. Uh, and that's what can be difficult to really spot. And that's why a system that you're using may have a time of large profit and then a time of large loss. Because we don't really know when those phases of the market are going to happen, whether it's whether it's trending, whether it's flat, or whether it's ranging, sideways, all that kind of stuff. For those of you just tuning in, today's episode's about EA trading, and why it's good, why it's bad, what I'm using, results, what to expect, how to work in EA, how to use it, how to properly use it, and we'll go over all that stuff in the next 30 minutes to an hour or so. Um, so the uh, so the biggest positive for me with EA trading is, yes, I don't have to constantly be at my computer, but I think the biggest one is seeing past trading performance, seeing how the EA has traded past can be very helpful, and seeing how what may be possible in the future. Now, it doesn't mean that what's happened in the past will happen in the future, as we know the market's changing, but it gives us a bit of an insight into what may happen. Now, each pair, whether it's the Euro US dollar or something else, uh, or the Euro pound in this case on my EA, the more years that I can gather in backtesting, in testing EA, the more I can understand about the behavior of that specific pair and how it reacts to changes in the market. Now, if we're talking about the Euro pound in particular, we know that there's two currencies. It's the euro and the pound, right? And so this pair is constantly being pulled by these two currencies and what's happening in the market, whether it be news or technical on the technical side. Um, and both these pairs, the euro and the pound, are very volatile pairs. But if you understand this pair, you'll see that, and if you look in the past, you'll see that it ranges a lot. Why does it range? Because the euro and the pound are a lot of times in correlation. And you can see that just by looking at pairs like the euro US dollar and the pound US dollar. If you look at these two pairs, you'll see that if one is going up, you can see here, that likely the other one is going up as well. Now, when they're correlated like that, that means that the euro pound may go up as well, but the results of it going up are a lot smaller. So when both pairs are going up, that means it's going to be in this more flat market. Now the subtle differences of these two pairs, the euro and the pound, when they're not in correlation, which can happen sometimes, when one is moving up, the other one could be flat, or the other one could be moving down. So the biggest difference when the volatility speeds up on the euro pound happens when one of the pairs is more volatile, or one of the currencies is more volatile than the other. So for example, if the euro US dollar is moving up at a quicker pace than the pound is, then the euro pound will likely be pushed down because the euro is losing uh, value faster than the pound is. So or did I say that right? If the euro is moving up, then likely the euro pound is moving up. So I said the complete opposite. Um, so whatever currency is driving volatility more than the other is going to drive the pair, and that's when the moves are caused. So just a clarification, because I was starting to confuse myself there. Scott Gregg, uh, you have a question. Do EAs work on DMA, direct market access brokers? Uh, I believe that they do, but I don't have a lot of data on that because you're talking about uh, the brokers that don't. Uh, the majority of retail brokers don't have direct market access, um, and I can't remember the exact name of those brokers. Uh, but typically, they're brokers that don't have a lot of leverage. Um, in most cases, it's no more than 10 to 1 on those brokers. And usually, for those types of brokers, uh, they take in the large account sizes of 100 plus K or more. Uh, and can they work with level 2 data? I see a Blizzard icon at the bottom of your screen. Yes, I do like Blizzard. Um, So it depends on if the broker allows MT4. If the broker allows MT4, then you should be able to use an EA even with a direct access broker. That's something that you may have to do some research on. It's something that I have not had to move into yet. Once that step is necessary for me, then I may move in that direction. But since that's not necessary for me at this time, then it's something that I won't be doing much research on. Um, and but if once I do happen to grow my account, if it's 100 plus thousand or more, then I may be looking at a more of a direct access broker, uh, so I can feel safe in making sure that my orders are actually being placed and that the broker is not fudging numbers. Okay, so back to the EA. Uh, the back testing that I'm doing here is just done straight through Oanda. Now, typically the modeling quality is about 90%, so it's about 90% of what I can expect using this Oanda broker specifically. And now there's also data that you can download that's 99% modeling quality from I say Duca's copy that you can load into MP4 for a 99.9% backtest data quality. You can't go back as far. I think it's only a few years potentially, and I haven't had a lot of. It hasn't been extremely necessary for me to go and download that data yet. And the reason why is because what I'm doing is I'm back testing the data that I'm also live testing. So for example, if you go to my information to my EA, you'll see that here are my EA results on my FX book. Uh, and I'm comparing the data that I'm getting on my live results from the last few months compared to the backtest results. So I'm backtesting what I'm also forward testing to make sure that my stats are adding up the same as the backtest. So I can be reassured that what I'm seeing in the past actually did happen and the results did take place. Um, so far, that has been the case. So it's reassuring to see that my EA is following suit from backtest to forward test. Uh, sure, Scott. Sorry, I don't have a lot of information on that, but I do answer things as honestly as honest as possible. Even if I don't know something, I'll tell you that I don't know it, and I won't just give you some bullcrap answer. um, so let's start to get into the negatives of EA trading and uh, why it can hurt your account. Well, I've already talked about one where EAs can't adapt to the market very well. Um, and because the markets are always changing. So just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it will happen in the future, and, and it won't happen in the future in the same way either. Uh, that it's always different. Um, so that's kind of a negative, and that's the reason why you look at a bunch of EAs online, and you'll see that a bunch of them are scams. For example, let's go to eBay. Now, I actually I have sold my EA on eBay once before. And if you just search Forex EA, and you'll see a bunch of them are really cheap. For example, let's just click on this guy right here. Forex Diamond EA Forex Trading. Now you think, oh, it's only $16, and he's sold 73. Wow, this must be a good EA. Well, let's look at what he has here and try to legitimize what information he has. Okay, so he says he puts all of his reviews on, and that's great. But if you look at the majority of the reviews here, you'll say that most of them are just talking about great seller, good transaction, smooth transaction, thanks, A++, but they don't talk about the EA very much, especially in detail, even on the reviews. Okay, he has a little bit of a backtest, but we don't know how far this back test actually goes. How many years is it? Is it a couple months? Is it a couple weeks? Is it a few years? So we don't have any data on that. Uh, he goes into a little bit of the details, combines multiple strategies and trending and trade reversals. I mean, what is that? That doesn't give anything away for what to expect from this. He does say, if we look at the data, okay, he does actually say the date. I didn't even see this. But he says that from 2012 to, so it says here that the date is 2012 to 2013. That's a year. Now, we want more than a year's worth of data um, because that's just not enough. 1 year of back data of back history is not enough to gain the idea of how a strategy is going to work in the future. We want to gain as much data as possible to make a better evaluation on how the EA is going to work in the future. In 1 year is just not enough because this could be the only year that the EA has actually profited, and since the markets really started back in the 90s or even before, when retail trading began with MT4 and so forth. But yeah, as you can see, we don't have an idea of how profitable this EA will be over the longer term. He says this 400 pips and gains and all this kind of stuff, but would have to take his word with a grain of salt because we just don't really know what to expect. And go into some other details, but it's not very descriptive of what to expect. We do see that it trades on specific pairs, that it uses the 15-minute time frame, and system is programmed by the developers of the Wall Street EA, and it was launched in 2013. Okay, so that gives you some positivity because this is actually a decent EA. Now, if we go to the EA, well, it looks like the website's down right now. Let's see if it's up now. Okay, so the website is fine. This is the Wall Street EA. Now, this is a retail EA. And again, I'm not getting any commissions off of selling this information, guys. I would send you links and things like that if that was the case, and I'm not doing that. This is here just to be informative about what's good out there. I'm not trying to sell anything. So this is the Wall Street EA, and this EA has been around for a while. And instead of going to this guy. I mean, he's only selling it for his EA for $16, but honestly, if you're buying an EA for $16, it's likely going to be garbage. If somebody's selling it an EA for $16, that means that they don't have a high expectation of this EA and what it can do. For me, I was selling my EA for $400, and the reason why I was selling for 400 is because I was looking at the marketplace to see how my EA compared to the best EAs on the market, and some of the best EAs are, for example, the Wall Street EA. This EA has been around for a while. If you go to the tests on my FX book, you'll see that the tests are pretty good. You can click on these tests, and then we'll go to the actual uh, uh, forward test on with the EA. And you'll see that it's actually done with a legitimate broker, Apari, and they've been around for a while. And you can see that the tests, and you can search for it yourself to see how the EA is performed. And so this is a decent EA. What can I say? It's been around for a while. So I looked at the results to see how they compared to mine. Mine was better. And this EA happened to be, you can buy it for $300 at least right now. It also includes a few other EAs on top of that as well, a couple of bonuses that you can get. My best recommendation would be the recovery EA, which oh, here it is. This is one of the bonuses. It's pretty good, but anyway, so that's one of the EAs, and that's what I was comparing it to. There's not too many good retail EAs out there, guys, that you can buy. For those of you that are trading with Nick at with forexsignals.com, he's got a bunch of traders that are trading for him that you can copy on simpletrader.net or through simpletrader.net. And honestly, his traders, some of these EAs actually outperform his traders, and they have over a long period of time. Now, if you go to, for example, Happy Trader, Happy Forex version 2.2, this EA has, in some ways, actually outperformed his traders when it comes to consistency in gains and drawdown as well. Um, and so I know that a lot of people are against EAs, in particular, pretty much everybody at forexsignals.com. Nick is very against EAs, and his team is also very against EAs because they don't think that they can adapt to the market. Well, I don't think they've done enough research on EAs to begin with, because you can see here, even though there are some chart errors, this is from my FX book. This is an error from my FX book. I've already clarified with the owner of Happy Forex version 2.2, and the consistency over time. Now, this is what the error is showing. I showed this the other day, a 50% gain. This is not accurate. The gain was more like in the 2 to 4% area through the history, and then also in 2015. The consistency of gains with this EA are very good and very high over a long period of time. That's what I like to see. I don't like to see gains that are in the 20% or 40% or 50. That's just too high for the Forex market to be sustainable. And so when I see this is the kind of performance that I guess if you drool over and want to copy or use, because 4% over a long period of time at a low drawdown is extremely good and what you should be looking for. Now, it's hard to find this in retail EAs. And Nick's team and Nick himself don't like EAs because they don't think they adapt. Well, I'm here to say that they can still profit in the market long term, and they can adapt to a certain degree. Not as much as humans can, obviously, but they can still adapt. In some cases, they don't necessarily need to adapt if they have really good money management that can help it. I guess it can help it trek through some of those trying times or those changing times in a specific pair or market. Uh, So you need some adaptation. The EA needs to be able to adapt, whether it's through its methodology or if it's through the risk management or if it's through the money management side. It has to be able to adapt in some way in order to be profitable long term. Now, or it can also be the methodology uh, can be used um, through a pattern in the market uh, or on a pair. So if there's a pattern in the pair that's been going on for the last 20 years, um, and if an EA can capitalize on that uh, with a money management that can adapt to the subtle differences, then that is a winning EA. And that's what I'm showing here is a winning EA, and this is a live account forward test. It's all fully automated, and that's what I'm trying to do here. My EA will also look very similar to this happy one over the course of its time. As you can see, I've only been doing it for about 3 months now, and we're currently waiting for some trades to close out. Now, if I go into the longer term, now I've done a test of 16 years on the EA. This is a click test, so the accuracy is pretty high. It's in the 90% range. And you'll see that it was done with the modeling quality of 90% and through Oanda. And so these results are not completely accurate. They're, to be 90% expected on this broker just through Oanda. And this is through Oanda's feed, and this is what the data that they've pulled. So this doesn't mean necessarily that these are the same results that you'll get with your broker, because the spreads will be different. The price will be slightly different as well. But the results are something that you can, similar results are something that you can expect using this EA. Now, you have to be careful with the types of retail EAs that you use or you buy, because they may give good results on one broker, but on another broker, maybe not so much. Uh, there are EAs, at least on the market, retail ones, that are very broker dependent. You should stay away from those EAs. Any EAs that are scalper EAs or look for small take profits or yeah, pip profits, you should try to stay away from, because those are broker dependent ones. When they're looking for small increases in pip size to take profit, that means that they're in the market very quick, which is great, it's fine, but they're also dependent on specific types of brokers that may not be ideal to use in the long term. Um, so be very careful of that, and I can help guide that which EAs to stay away from over the course of the rest of the stream. All right, so this is my EA, and this is the back test of 16 years. So you can see that I had over 11,000% increase in the course of the 16 years. Now you can go through all the tests. You can see that it's making an average in the beginning of 1 to 3% per month, and then as it goes on, it continues to do the same. But you'll see that every single month is profitable. And if you go to the 2016, you see that even 2016 was a pretty big year. There was a lot of volatility, and so my average gains were pretty good. Now, what can I take from this, from the successful test? Now, I can't say I'm guaranteed a very good outcome in the future using this EA, but I can say that I have been able to, with all the test data that I've gone through, I've been able to, I'm going to speed up this this test. Okay, so with all the data that I've gathered over since the market really started, I can actually run this EA live, not live, profitably since 1993. So the EA as a whole has not lost since, in the back test at least, um, since data was actually being pulled from the euro pound since 1993 on. So that's 24 years. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm guaranteed to be profitable just because I've gathered 24 years of history. It's how I pull that data. It's how I pull in and work with that data to find an edge. Now, the edge that I've found is a specific pattern in the euro pound that's happened over the course of 24 years. Now, I've talked to you about the euro pound and how it behaves. Um, it's a very ranging pair because of the two currencies that it's dealing with, the euro and the pound. They're both a lot of times correlated, a good portion of the time, and they're also very volatile pairs as well, or currencies as well. And it causes the euro pound to behave in a certain way where it does trend, yes, but it also goes in these big swings of range. So you'll see this happening a lot. Well, you'll have the peaks, the bottoms, and the tops. And in a trend, let's say it's moving in a trend, you'll see this. So, I mean, this is a very generalization of the euro pound, but you'll still have these peaks, these bottom and tops here. And that's the thing that I'm capitalizing on, is this type of pattern, where even in a trend, downtrend or uptrend, it still moves in this kind of range pattern. So the EA takes advantage of that. So what have I found? I found that the EA looks for these peaks. Peak here, one here, and then one here, and then eventually close it out later on. Peak here, bottom out, and close out here. So that's what the EA is looking for. It's looking for these range, the tops and the bottoms. And that can be really hard to spot. So what happens is, if the EA is wrong, then it will continue to enter until it finds a good price when it finally does reverse. So it's taking advantage of that pattern. I may not hit every single one right, but the majority of them are executed in a good way, like right here. It nailed that peak. The EA nailed this peak exactly right. One sell, one short position. Took profit there. Okay, that was a good position. Okay, so this one was pretty good too. Entered here, and it had 3 positions. That's not bad. All closed out eventually, and it did reverse in a big way. Okay, so the next one, well, the next one not so pretty. This one went on for a lot longer before the reverse did happen, but I was able to find it. The EA was able to find it, and it did reverse, and it came out in profit. Great. But so some of them are clean, some of them are not so much. But you will know that the markets are very difficult to read sometimes, and to know when that peak is going to happen can be difficult. So what the EA looks for is a specific methodology to try to spot those peaks, and dips. So let's load up the indicators that I use to help with this. Okay, so this is the RMI indicator. This is a custom indicator. You can search it on Google. You can find one. You can also go to forexwinners.net, and I'll talk about this site later on, guys. This is a great site. You can find a great amount of systems, pre-made systems that are free. And all the systems are free. You can download them. And they have reviews as well on top of them. So for example, if you go to Winning Profitable Forex System, that's good. That's a great name. It's not very original. But if you go to it, you'll see that if it loads, sorry, I have like 1,000 Google tabs open. If you go down, you'll see, okay, well, this system doesn't have great reviews. It has 25 votes and a 2.5-star rating. I'm not sure if I want to use it. It also has about 1,000 indicators as well, which may not be the best solution. This guy, or this person, that whoever created this, is depending upon indicators almost entirely for this system, and not even really watching price. Not fully recommended to me, but there are tons of systems. You just go to the system tab at the top, and again, this is forexwinners.net. I'll place it in the YouTube chat here for those of you that want to check it out. I think you'll find it useful, and you'll see all the systems here, and how they work, and the reviews on them as well. And there's lots of good ones, and honestly, a lot of them are paid too. Some users will hack into some of these paid systems and then they'll place them on here. One of my old systems that I created back I think it was 7 years or 7 or 8 years ago on Forex Factory is actually on this website. Um, so yeah. Um, so what we're looking at is the RMI indicator. And it's a great indicator. I like it a lot because it actually is sort of like the RSI, and the stochastic, it kind of combines them all together. It's a volatility meter on top of that, and it shows you the peaks, potentially the peaks and or the tops and bottoms of a price. Now it can't be exactly right all the time, but it does help. So how do you read this indicator, or how do you use it? You look at the overbought, which is the 70 and the 30, and the oversold is the 30. And you look at this here, and once it's under this line, that means that you're only going to be taking long positions at that point to see to see if the market is going to potentially reverse after it dips below it. And then once it dips or breaks and goes above, that's when the potential for the reversal starts happening right in here, and the market might start to bounce up at that point. So what we do is we look for long positions in here. So when the price reaches this area, and we also we can't just use this indicator by itself, although it's pretty good, and you might be able to use it to some degree just by itself. But I also look at the candlesticks. I look for inside candles, reversal candles, or the EA does. It looks for those candlesticks on top of looking for the overbought or oversold condition using the RMI indicator. And so that's what the EA uses and it looks for, and that's how it's able to spot a lot of the tops and bottoms of price on this pair and pair exclusively. Okay. So why doesn't it work on other pairs if it's just the euro pound? Well, like I was saying before, I'm basing the system is based off of a pattern that a price pattern that the euro pound has given over the last 24, 25 years. And that pattern is that the from my entry point, so right here, for example, overbought, reversal candle, and from this entry, price is likely not to move above or go against me from that order, from that specific order, more than 500 pips. It can, and it has in the past 25 years, but the chances are not very high. I have 24 years of data showing that from order one, that price won't move more than will move more than 500 pips on a rare occasion. And if it does, then I have a stop loss in place just in case it does happen. So with that being known, that means that I can capitalize on that type of pair behavior, knowing that from my entry that the price won't move more than about 500 pips on rare occasion, and I can work with that. And how do I work with that? Well, using my specific entry point and also specific money management to help capitalize on that specific pattern that I just mentioned to you. Okay, so that is the edge that I have with my specific EA, is knowing all of that data and how the market or how the pair has reacted to 24 years of data, and that includes the 2008, 2009 recession that happened, includes multiple market chaos times that have happened, includes the election, includes Brexit, so many dramatic economic and events that have in market events and financial events that have happened, and it's still able to withstand all of those times. And so that helps me to gauge that I can potentially handle another Brexit type of event with the or at least the EA could handle that if it were to happen again. And let me go to my live account just for you guys so you guys can see what's happening there. Um, and so that's what I think is beneficial for EAs is gaining all that history. Um, so we can see how a strategy performs over many years of time. And that doesn't only help us with the EA itself, it also helps us understand the behavior of that pair, whether it be the euro pound or something else, um, and how to appropriately find an edge uh, so we can profit in the market. Okay, so the next little bit I want to cover uh, other aspects of EA trading specifically. Um, Live tests. I've already talked about my back test. I've already talked about the Wall Street EA, how that could be something. This EA has been around for many years. I've seen it for the last 5 years, and it's still going, which is pretty cool. And they keep doing upgrades. Now, do I recommend it? Have I used it? No, I have not used it yet. I don't know how it performs on a manual account, but it's something to check out and to look into. I know other people that are using it, and so far they say that they like it. All right, so we're going to close out that page. Happy Forex. I actually own this EA, and right now I'm testing it on demo. So far, I'm really liking it. Right now, it's gained uh, it's gained 3,681 on $1 million. I think it's a $1 million account. The reason why it's a $1 million account is because Oanda automatically places its accounts at this level. A little bit frustrating. But I expect this EA is trading pretty close to the forward results that I'm getting from the Happy Forex test. And so I am comparing my results to theirs to see how accurate they are. Now, I'm getting some trades that are not quite the same, but they're pretty close. And let me show you what I've already come up with. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know why I can't really find. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is one of the trades that it took, and you can see that it made some pretty good profit. It also took a position right after that that closed out for just 3 pips profit. Um, and this specific trade here is the same one that the test took on their test, but it's actually still currently in. So my trade closed out earlier than theirs. That's fine. If there's some subtle differences, I want to see what those are and take those into consideration if I'm going to use this EA with the potentially 100K that I'll be having coming in. Okay, so what are some good places to try to find some retail EAs to work with? This is a website that's not bad. I just recently found this. It's called the best EARobots.com. Now, again, I'm not getting a commission with this link I'm sending you, just something for your own knowledge. And you can check out some of the some EAs that are good. Now, this guy does test some of the EAs on I think FX Blue. I don't like FX Blue. It's a tracker like my FX book. FX Blue can be manipulated. It's easier to manipulate the results on FX Blue. And so I recommend looking at the EAs that he has tested on FX Book. Now this guy is testing it himself, and let's check out one of them right now. So this is his top EA, Artian FX, and he's got a live test going, and you can see the results and see what brokers he's using and his drawdown monthly profit and so forth. How long he's been testing. The reason why I like this guy is because some of his tests have been going for a long time, and he also has some of the Happy EAs on here from the Happy Forex company as well. So yeah, go ahead and check it out. You can see which accounts are demo, which ones are live, and you can base what you would potentially want to use off of that. Now, there's a huge problem with retail EAs. Retail EAs is that you don't fully know how the EA works, because the retailer that's selling it typically doesn't talk to you or explain to you how the EA fully works, which means that you're in the hands of the creator of the EA, and you're trusting that creator to profit for you, because you don't know the methodology behind the EA. That's a little scary. That's the same problem that I'm going through with the Happy Forex EA, is that I know a generalization of what it looks for, but I don't know the exact criteria of what it looks for. And that scares me. That scares me because I don't know what's happening. But it's the same thing with Nick's guys at forexsignals.com. Gold Star, for example. You don't know how Gold Star really trades, what is the criteria for him to enter a position. And so it's the same thing that we're at the risk of the trader in general. And in this case, we're at the risk of the EA. And so that's the scary thing about having something else trade for you, is not knowing exactly what it's using to trade. So how do we get around that? Well, we have to test it ourselves, test the EA ourselves. That's about as far as we can go, or test the strategy or a system by itself as well. And that sometimes can take months, but still, we still don't know what it's looking for. But as a trader, for me, and since I've been trading for quite a long time, I'm still trying to figure out what the EA, for example, why did it take this position? What is it based on? I know that it uses the ATR in this at the 7 ATR. That's about as far as I understand so far. But when does it place it in? I know it uses pending orders. Why does it use pending orders? When is it placing these orders? And all that kind of stuff. You have to take that into effect to maybe you can grasp onto why an EA trades the way it does, and it can make you more comfortable in using it. A lot of times we don't have that luxury with using a trade copier through a manual trader, somebody like Gold Star. We know that he trades gold. That's about it. We know that he's profited over the last 3 years, and we also know that he has a cutoff of his losses of around 15%, or it used to be 15%. I think it's 7% now, and that's about as far as we know. So we're at the grace of that trader again, and all we have to go on is future trading with that person. Yeah, not sure if you know, but yes, you can reset the demo to a different level, and I may do that. But I already have track record on this demo, and I guess I was a little lazy setting that demo to a predefined number. But the risk for the EA is set to accommodate this account size, and that's fine. So back to EA trading. So I don't know if I'm going to use Happy Forex. All I know is that I bought a copy, I'm using it, and I'm going to see how it goes. Am I going to use it on a live account? I don't know yet. I'll have to wait and see to see if I can find, by watching its trades, see if I can find out more about the methodology behind it, so I feel more comfortable using it in the longer term. Okay, so let's talk about VPSs. And I'm going to end this stream at in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to talk about VPS servers. I mentioned to you earlier in the stream what a VPS server is, and it's a virtual private server. That's what VPS stands for, and allows you to have basically a remote computer in a specific location that's always connected to the internet, which is kind of nice to have. And just in case your internet is inconsistent, or you have times of disconnect, and you know that all of us have had that, where our internet is slow or disconnects for a few minutes or a couple hours. And that's not great for an EA that's trading. We want to make sure that the EA is always trading, that is not the internet's not cutting out. So if a VPS, a good place is Cheap Forex VPS. Now this is a company that I use, and I have been using them for over a year now. Now, if you just click on their mini account, I think I actually have their mini account, and I just have, you can see it here. This is Forex, cheapforexvps.com, and this is their server. And this is what it looks like. And you can see that it looks like a completely other computer. This is the desktop, and uh, this is my trading platform as well. Okay, and you can see the price plans as well. There's one of the cheaper VPSs that you can get out there. If you get the mini plan, it's uh, it's it's not expensive, and it's sure as hell not fast. But if you're running one or two platforms in the background, it may be good enough for it. So if you select the 3 month for 99.99, you can do that. But if you wanted to do the 24-month plan for their listed price of $359, you can do that and pay up front, and it's only $86, and you're only paying overall $3.59 a month over the next 2 years. This is the plan I recommend. Um, and you know, it is 86 up front, but you won't have to pay for it for 2 years, which is kind of nice. You could also do the 3 month plan for $9.99 a month. It's $30 for the 3 months, and that's that. All right, so I like these guys so far. They've been pretty good. It's also a 5-day money back guarantee if you happen to think that it's too slow or if you want to upgrade. Um, and they have gotten better over the course of the year that I have been using them. All right, so we're going to close out the eBay. And let's see, is there anything else I want to cover before ending the stream today? Um, let me see. Okay, yeah, I will cover it over the next few minutes. The results, what to expect here uh, from EA trading. Well, it's hard to know what to expect, but we have an idea because of backtesting. Backtesting can help us understand maybe what we can expect in the future. Also, forward testing does the same thing. Forward testing allows us to know what maybe we can expect as well. My EA trades pretty much every week. I'll have trades in, and from previous back history or back data, or where is it? This is what I can expect. I mean, this equity curve, something like that. But what I'm looking at is the most recent profits expectations for each month in 2016 that I can expect. So I'm expecting in the 1 to maybe 4% range. To see what of how I may profit in the future. I'm also getting in my live test, my live forward testing. I'm also got 5% in December and 2% in for half of November, since I started in half of November, and then so far 1.21% in January of 2017. Okay. So that's what I'm expecting from results. Now, what about other retail EAs and what to expect from them? Well, Happy Forex has their track record, and this one is actually a forward test, not a back test, and you can see what to expect from them as well, which is very similar to what my EA is doing. They also have a bunch of other products as well that you can check out. Um, okay, so that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in today's stream, guys. Is EA trading and why it can be beneficial, and I guess the positives and the drawbacks to it, um, and to help you understand more about why back testing can be important, um, and how EAs can help you find an edge in the market to help you profit. It's not just using the EAs that are beneficial and can really help give you more time in the day. It's about using them in a certain way, um, so they can uh, help you profit more in the market or just even start profiting now in general. So next episode, I'm hoping to cover is ABF, and I'll give a short into that. Or a short preview of ABF. ABF is the company that I used to potentially get a credit line of borrowed funds. So it's borrowed funds of up to 400,000. Um, and I'm expecting, considering my credit score, that I won't get more than probably 100,000, and it could be as little as even 25. Now I'll get into the details of why, my experience with these guys, their legitimacy, how long they've been around for, um, why I'm using them, what's the risk involved, uh, and what are the positives that I can gain from this as well. And so I'll cover this website pretty extensively, the company as well. We'll also look at the business location, and we'll talk about phone numbers, how helpful they've been, my experience with them through email and phone over the last couple of months. And is it something that you could use as well? It is. It's something that you could use, but I, I'm going to go over my experience to help guide you to see if this is something that you would want to do yourself. Um, because the loans that you can use, or the credit line that they do give you, a credit line for anyone is what they call it, uh, is basically like a private credit line. And you can use it for pretty much anything you want. Um, but that is up to you. And because you will have to pay that loan or credit line back at some point. So I'll get more in the details next stream about the company, uh, and if it's good or potentially bad. All right, so we'll end on that. This is my EA results right now. We have seen a push back up. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for this to close out all of my orders. I need it to go, unfortunately, right about here for all my trades to close out, and it's pushed up since then, so I'm gonna have to wait it out a little bit longer. That's fine. This is normal behavior for the Euro Pound. All right, so I'll give you an update tomorrow on how these trades are turning out. This is my personal account of $2,920, soon to be maybe in the 50 to 100,000 range, with the credit line from ABF, uh, and we'll go from there. All right, thanks guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time. I'm not going to potentially be doing a stream every single day. I'm still just deciding if I'm going to be doing it every day, every other day, or potentially once a week. It depends on how much information I have. If I feel like I can cover a full hour every day, or a full hour every other day, or maybe an hour or two once a week. And so I'll make that call. So keep your email open to see when I'm actually streaming. Usually it will be in the 9 to 10 o'clock bracket that I stream. And so I hope to see you guys continuing to watch. You need to be very careful borrowing money to trade slippery slope. Yes, thanks for your ending comment there, Andy. Yes, I'll be going into the detail on that, Andy. I'm very well aware of the risks involved in borrowing money, um, and how to approach it in a way to lessen the risk. There's always going to be risk involved. Always. There's always going to be risk involved in borrowing money. But how we handle that money is where we do have a little bit of control over. And so that's what I'll go into more later once I do that stream. All right. So, all right, Scott Greg, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.